everywhere for a very long time now. The whole idea is so heinous that the Congress and the president and 11 other countries are going to sign on to this Trans-Pacific Partnership, and nobody in those countries is even going to know.
Yeah, nobody. I mean, not just Americans. I mean, this is our country. We get to see it, jackasses, and then we get 3 subsections of it, and it's not just a trade deal, it's a giant power grab.
Of course. And we still don't really know, because even with what's been released, leaked, we're not totally sure that this is the final draft or it's an earlier draft. I mean, it's complete insanity. And then, as Sessions pointed out about 10 days ago, when he went into the sealed room, to read sections of the TPP, he came out and he started talking about this thing called living agreements, which means simply that once this treaty would be ratified, then the powers that be in these 12 nations could change it at will to mean anything they want it to mean in the future. So this is like a blank check. It's like saying to the globalists, look, you guys do whatever you want up the road here for as long as you want to do it. You need more power, take it. You want to have no tariffs on anything, anywhere, at any time, fine. You want to sell pharmaceuticals at skyrocket prices, that's fine. Whatever you want to do, you just do it. You take over the government, we surrender. So all of this started to come out, and then still Obama is lying and saying, you people don't understand what's in the agreement and all of this kind of stuff. It becomes so obvious, so transparent to people around the world that these liars are just trying for a power grab.
So is this jumping the shark? I mean, because we get down now to the final unveiling of world government, and they go, yeah, it's secret, you can't see anything, and foreign corporations will run everything, and by the way, your kids can't play in their backyard if they're 11, we'll take you to jail. I mean, it's just...
Yeah,
they're turning the country into a supermax prison with a bunch of crooks running around in front of us. I mean, it's just bizarro world. I agree with you. I think we're seeing something epic here, and that word doesn't go far enough. And I think the bad feelings we've all got is realizing the globalists aren't going to give up power easily, and they're going to pull some major fiasco shenanigans.
You bet. And plus, this vote today that we were just listening to, that's going to come back. I mean, this stuff doesn't quit. It's not like, okay, well, we voted it down, that's the end of it. No. It can come back in other forms. It can be readjusted. Congress can be called back into session. Committees.
Oh, you can package horse manure 1,000 different ways.
Exactly. So we got to really watch out for that. And then the thing that I pointed out in yet another article, which is much more long-term and deep, is the fact that globalism itself is like a snake that's been eating its own tail for a very long time, because globalism puts global government in the hands of mega corporations. At the same time, these mega corporations are endowed with such powers that they essentially destroy the consumer base of the planet.
Let's explain that. This is key what he's saying. A piercing mind of John Rappaport straight ahead. And I thought, man, you're a goofball. And I went, no, you're normal. You've got the history, everything that built this country. I'm not saying I'm special, but compared to zombies, I am. I mean, I don't get excited when a team I like wins a game. I might go, hey, cool, they won. Because I like sports a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to lie about that. I grew up playing them. But, man, when we defeat an evil, horrible takeover, I know the enemy's coming back at us, but still, it's exciting. And the fact that it's weird that I start hyperventilating and stuttering and interrupting a guest on air, that's normal, folks. This is our country being conquered. I mean, this is real by really bad people. And they've already got us in their grasp, but we're trying to struggle out. And the fact that we're struggling, listen, they brought the EU in 50-something years ago by stealth. England didn't get a vote in the 80s, late 80s, was brought into it. They're now getting ready to try to vote and get out of it. The point is, they didn't even know they'd gone under the EU until it was announced. Almost all their laws are made by the unelected EU bureaucracy. Now they're trying to do the same thing here, and it's failing. You see, we've gone so far in the fight, folks, that they admit Bilderberg exists. They admit all this is happening. Their house of cards is coming down. We have reached an ultra-epic point. And I'm not overusing that word. It's legendary. The problem is they're going to strike back. and it's going to be bad. John Rappaport, this is a short segment. Long segment's coming up. You'll have more time to elaborate, but I don't think I'm overstating things, and I think it's the fact that people have to get out of their trance, literal trance that you write about, and we have to break people out of it. It's not going to be pretty, like when I was on Piers Morgan, but it was international sensation, as you wrote, because it was the curtain getting pulled back. I'm nothing special. I'm like Toto. We are all launching Operation Toto, and we're seeing history right now. I mean, are you getting chills right now?
Yeah, I am, because the legislators are being forced into this by the people. Because, you know, they sense this giant wave building. We're not going to stand for secrecy. We don't want some supernatural national government taking over the United States with secret details that we can't even know about. They're afraid, if they just rubber stamp this whole thing, that it's going to be an enduring nightmare for them. And so they're backing away right now. They're backing away. They're saying no. And that is tremendous. That is a tremendous defeat for Obama, because he's in a sweat and a panic, believe me. He's running around, making deals, doing everything under the sun possible to get the votes that he wants to.
They burned Hastert to scare everybody.
Because Obama was put there to do this. That's why he's the president. Forget all the other stuff. This was his mandate. There's going to be big-time trade treaties coming up, and you're going to make...
You're right. He didn't go down to Capitol Hill to push Obamacare. He went down here on this.
Exactly. He was mentored by Brzezinski, you know, the intellectual flunky of David Rockefeller, after he won the election in 2008, and he was clued in on all of this. This is why you're here, Mr. President, to get these trade treaties done. Failure is not an option. This is what we want. You do whatever else you want, but this is why you're here. If you mess this up, that's a very, very bad thing. He knows that, and he is sweating. He's in a panic, and he's trying to get arm twisted.
By the way, the media's pointed out that he's been stuttering more, falling apart, doesn't want to give speeches. He looks freaked out.
He is freaked out. He knows he knows who the bosses are. You know, it's like when you work for a company and the boss comes down and he says, look, this is the project that's going to pull us out or keep us in front, and you've got to make it happen. I don't want any excuses. I don't want to hear anything about failure. Whatever you have to do, you make it work. Remember that. This is the next 8 or 10 years of what we're doing here. Well, the boss goes back upstairs and the guy's in this, well, okay, well, I'll do this, no question about it. But then when push comes to shove, it turns out it's not easy. It turns out it's a struggle. It turns out that, what is Obama trying to promote? He's trying to promote utter secrecy. Just do what I tell you to do.
It turns out there's people that know the game plan. It turns out there's a resistance that was waiting, that knew this was coming.
Exactly. And now here we go.
That's right. We've been patriots for 60 years, have been building to fight you. We stand on the bones of millions of people that knew more than we did when nobody was listening to them, and it's because of those people. It's because of those people, folks, we're now where we're at, in a fighting stance against the globalist. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. As bad as the zombie population is, they're out of the game. They don't count. There are giant sectors of people that know the whole 9 yards, and we're ready. The global government treaty has been shot down in the House. The Trans-Pacific Partnership. They will try to repackage. They will try to bring it back, but it is a devastating victory. John Rappaport's our guest. I wanted to get Leanne McAdoo in here to talk about the culture war, though, the weaponization of the media, this Bruce Jenner garbage, trying to finance a race war, using the globalist training of the police that is atrocious to then create a culture clash there, how Mr. Rappaport thinks we navigate out of that. Briefly, because I didn't do any plugging last hour, we finance our operation here selling super high quality products. And I believe in one thing at my core, and that's win-win. I don't do something to someone unless it's how I want to be treated. Now, you come over and knock me upside the head, I'm going to attack you. But I like having people over for dinner. I like making people dinner. I like successful people. I don't get mad when other people are doing well. I'm a nice guy. I'm not up here saying I'm some great person. My point is that I grew up thinking everybody was like me or my family. No, a lot of folks are losers and they hate winners, or they're quasi-winners, but they're still haters and they don't like other winners. And the globalists are that. So anything we sell, anything we promote, whether it's the non-GMO, heirloom, organic, high-quality seeds, or the water filtration systems, or the books, the films, the Patriot apparel, the nutraceuticals at InfoWarsLife.com, is the very best thing that I can come up with that I personally use, that I personally want. Whether it's, Head Down Firearms, hdfirearms.com, or whether it's InfoWars health.com and the Youngevity line of products there that you can get discounted and get free shipping when you sign up for auto ship and a 30% discount the first time you order when you sign up to be a distributor. I mean, there's those type of deals at InfoWarsHealth.com, InfoWarsLife.com. And that's how we fund ourselves. You see me skipping 2-3 breaks today. You see me not even plugging. Almost all of the radio hosts plug every segment. And radio can't even stay afloat doing that. Our audience is so huge, I can get away with this. But then I forget and don't, and we run out of money to send reporters to Bilderberg or wherever. We have a lot of enemies, too. We need to have a war chest, not just enough money to operate. So you know this, when you buy the products at InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com, or when you call an order, or when you write to us an order, you are funding people that are committed to not selling out, committed to telling the truth. Folks, I couldn't be made to sell out under torture. I cannot physically do it. They can even come after my kids, and they know this. I just cannot do this. And they're going to run into that across the country. People that have halfway sold out, didn't know they had. When it comes and gets very clear, they're going to say no. Because what's valuable is not being slaves. What's valuable is having integrity. But they're going to use racism and infighting and trolls on all sides to try to get us at each other's throats. It must fail. We must be unified by a culture of liberty and freedom and ideals. So InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsHealth.com is the whole Youngevity line, discounted high quality. And your purchase of the products funds the operation, and it's a win-win. You get great products at the lowest prices you're going to find on those items, sometimes even lower than we're really supposed to have things for sale in agreements, because sometimes we're doing one special and then we do another special not thinking. We don't do it on purpose. But we're that competitive. We're that capitalistic. We're that Americana. We're what's left of it, not what's old-fashioned. The ideas of America were never fully realized, but they were the most revolutionary ever. America had tons of evil in it, but the idea of private property, the idea of being left alone, even though it was never fully realized, was like kryptonite to Superman, but not a good Superman, a bad Superman. It is anathema to the enemy. So thank you all for your support. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. The other big link is not just supporting us. It is just as important to become a sponsor of local stations or support local sponsors of stations and to spread the word about local stations. So thank you so much for doing that as well. That is essential. You're sick of tyranny? Go get a billboard for the local station we're on. Pay for it. Put it up. Probably costs $1,000 to reach tens of thousands of people. Wake up thousands of people. Or you got a local business? Go sponsor the show. I mean, it's time to put the money where the mouth is, folks. It's time to commit, okay? I'm not bragging, but I've been through all sorts of hell, okay? And you know what? It's only made me better. It's made me stronger. And now, since so many people already went before us and trailblazed in the enemy's face, you don't get the heat you used to get doing low-level stuff. The enemy is in trouble, folks. The enemy wanted to intimidate us. They took our laziness as weakness. That is not what it was. So let's take action now. Thank you for your support. And then we also support and magnify all the other amazing minds and patriots, whether it's Ron Paul or John Rappaport or Paul Watson or Jakari Jackson or Leanne McAdoo and just all the rest, our great writers, all the people, you the listeners. It's legendary. It's the fight. It's the defense against the globalist. Even if we lose, at least we didn't crawl around on the ground. We stood up. And it's that animating contest that Jefferson wrote about that makes us who we are. It's that struggle that builds our spiritual muscles, our physical muscles, our intestinal fortitude. It's addicting. I mean, I've gone from being afraid 20 years ago to not being afraid to just being beyond that, just almost wanting them to come, not even just ready for battle, ready for it all, ready for the test, ready. All right, I want to give John Rappaport 5-6 minutes to have the floor on this subject without me interrupting. Then I'm going to have Leanne McAdoo segue in with the culture war and get John Rappaport's take on that. John Rappaport.
Okay, a couple things, Alex.